Over the last decade, I've successfully recruited and placed more than 10,000 employees for growing companies. I've worked with more than 300 businesses. I've built hiring systems for startups, mid-market companies, as well as large enterprises. And you know what? I love recruiting. Well, you're probably thinking, of course you do, Jared, it's your job. But here's the thing. Most business owners that I talk to absolutely hate it. They avoid it, they dread it. They'd literally rather do anything else rather than recruit. Here's a typical entrepreneur experience. It's Sunday night. They're sitting at their desk. They're staring at a job posting that they know they need to write. And they're thinking about the process that lays ahead of them. Posting the job, sifting through hundreds of resumes, scheduling the interviews, and hoping and praying that someone decent applies. And the thought of having to do all of that makes them want to close the laptop and smash it to pieces. But here's what I've learned after a decade of doing this. If recruiting is frustrating you, draining your energy, and constantly steals time from growing your business, the problem is not the talent market. The real issue is that you're trying to scale with a hiring system that was never designed to scale in the first place. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the 5-part system check to show you exactly why recruiting feels broken and where it's failing you. And I want this to be the last video that you watch after saying, I hate recruiting. Because once the system is fixed, your hiring will stop feeling so chaotic and it will start feeling like an unfair advantage. Now, if you're new here, my name is Jared Black. I wanna say welcome. I'm the founder of NewVine Employment Group. And on this channel, I share actionable recruiting strategies that help business leaders just like you attract and hire top talent without the guesswork, without the costly mistakes, and without the years of trial and error. All right, so let's dive in. And let's start by talking about what's actually broken. Recruiting, it should be a system. It should not be a reoccurring emergency. But for most businesses, it's the latter. So here are the top 5 signs that your hiring system is broken. Failure number 1, you're personally reviewing CVs. So let me paint a picture for you. Post a job on LinkedIn. Within 48 hours, you've got maybe a few hundred applications, if you're lucky. So you sit down, usually late at night or probably over a weekend, and you start scrolling through some resumes. Now, most of them are completely unqualified, some are even AI generated, and a few look kind of promising, so you bookmark them for later. A few hours later, you've reviewed maybe 100 of them, and your eyes are starting to glaze over, and you still have a couple hundred left to go. Here's the problem. If you're personally reviewing CVs, recruiting has already failed you. Your time is way too valuable to be filtering resumes manually. But more importantly, A players, they don't want to join companies where leadership is stuck in low leverage work. When the founder is screening resumes manually from start to finish, it's a signal. It's a signal that says a system doesn't exist, and top candidates, they can see that. Now, before we move on, if you want to see the exact framework that we use to fix this, I want you to check the free guide, My Signature Method to Hiring A Players. The link is in the description below. Or if you want a more technical breakdown, something like this, you can subscribe and check out the other videos that are here in this channel. All right, let's keep going. Failure number 2, every hire feels urgent. So here's a scenario I see all too often. A founder calls me and says, Jared, we need somebody yesterday. Can you help us? I ask, well, when did this role first come to attention, or when did it first open up? And they say, maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Well, here's what they usually admit right after that. They kept putting it off. The role wasn't critical enough to prioritize at that time. And then somebody quit, or a project came up and they weren't able to meet the project demand. And now they're in panic mode. You see, every hire feels urgent when every role is urgent and you're always hiring from pressure. And here's what happens. Urgent hiring leads to compromise, and then compromise leads to a mishire, and then mishires reset the cycle, and now you're urgent all over again. But urgency is only a symptom of a missing pipeline. If you had a system, a proactive pipeline of relationships, you wouldn't be scrambling every time somebody leaves the company or when you needed to grow. Failure number 3, you rely on gut feel over actual structure. Something I see very often is a business is hiring for a critical role. Maybe it's a VP of sales or maybe head of engineering, for example. They interview maybe a few candidates, 2, 3, 4, and they all have strong resumes, they all have great experience, they all say the right things. And at the end of the process, they wind up picking the person that they liked the most. Great energy, great rapport, seemed like a fit. 6 months later, it's not working out. The person can't deliver results, they can't build the systems they said they could, and they looked good in the interview, but they can't actually do the job. So in fact, the system failure is relying on gut feel over actual structure. Intuition without structure doesn't scale. And you want to avoid the hiring decisions that are based off of, I like them, or they seem capable. And look, intuition matters, but A players, they require a higher bar and clearer signals. Gut feel should only confirm the data. It should never replace it. So if you don't have a structured way to evaluate candidates, I'm talking about skills tests, reference checks, behavioral interviews, cultural assessments, then you're just guessing, and guessing doesn't build great teams. Failure number 4, recruiting steals time from revenue. Here's another big one that I see. A founder tells me that they've been trying to hire for months, maybe 2 months at a time. And I ask, how much time are you spending on this? And they'll say, I don't know, maybe 30 hours a week. So just do the math. 30 hours a week for 8 weeks, that's 240 hours. And I ask, what could you have done with 240 hours if you weren't recruiting? And usually there's a pause. And then they realize, man, they could have closed 3 or 4 major deals. They could have built a new feature that their customers have been asking for. They could have trained their team. That's the system failure. Recruiting is stealing time from revenue. In other words, when recruiting consumes leadership's time, growth slows, and the business pays twice. Once in time and once in missed opportunity. Remember this, if hiring costs you growth, your system is broken. And now the last one, failure number 5. You can't see where candidates drop off. I had a company recently reach out because they were frustrated. They couldn't find good candidates. But when I dug into the numbers, here's what I actually found out. 150 had applied to their last job posting, and they interviewed about 5 of them in a serious manner. And they got down to about 2 finalists, but both finalists rejected their offers and went with other companies. So when I asked them the most important question, do you know where you lost them? They had no idea. Was it the job posting? Was it the interview process? Was it the salary? Was it the culture? They had no idea, and they couldn't tell me. They couldn't see where the candidates were dropping off. No visibility means no control. And if you don't know where your candidates disengage, you can't improve the outcomes. Remember, great systems, they create clarity at every step. You can track the data, then identify the bottlenecks and fix what's broken. But if you can't point to the breakdown, then you don't have a hiring system. You just have hope. All right, now that we've identified the failures, what does a good system actually look like? Well, let me show you an example in contrast. First, a good system is proactive, never reactive. You're not waiting until someone quits to start looking for their replacement. You're building relationships with talent before you need them. You have a pipeline. Second, it's structured, never chaotic. You have a repeatable process. Everyone on your team knows what happens at each stage, and candidates know what to expect. There's never any confusion. Third, it's data-driven. It's never gut-driven. You track metrics, and you know how many candidates apply, how many move forward, how many accept offers, how many decline the offer, and you know where people are dropping out. And you optimize based on the evidence, not feelings. And fourth, it's scalable. You're no longer the bottleneck. Your system works whether you're hiring 1 person or 10. And most importantly, it doesn't drain your time and your energy. It runs in the background while you focus on growing the business. And that's what a winning system looks like. Now, if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, I completely understand. I get it. It's a lot. But here's the truth. Recruiting, it doesn't have to suck. Remember, you don't hate recruiting. You hate the broken system that you're using for recruiting. And the good news is, systems can be fixed. You can stop scrambling every time you need to hire. You can stop wasting hours reviewing resumes that go nowhere. You can stop losing deals because you're just too busy recruiting. You can stop dreading Sunday nights because now you need to hire somebody else. To put it simply, you fix your system and you'll fix your experience. Now, even if you recognize these problems, fixing them internally without a system usually just creates more work at first. But that's exactly what we help companies solve. Throughout our suite of products and services, we combine the power and efficiency of AI with the human expertise to take the hiring and recruiting pressure off leadership's shoulders. We build the pipeline, we handle the sourcing, we filter the candidates, and we deliver qualified people ready to have real conversations. Now, if you want to learn more about that, book a discovery call with our team. The link for that is in the description below. And if you want to understand why some candidates are ghosting you and what to do instead, watch this next video right here, which is Stop Getting Ignored in 2026. Go watch that video now, because even the best hiring system won't work if you can't get the attention of today's talent. And hey, if you got value from this video, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. It helps more business leaders just like you find this content, and it helps us know more about what you like so we can keep creating more valuable content like this. Thanks for watching, and remember, you don't hate recruiting, you just hate your system. So it's time to buckle down and fix it in 2026.